it was a great song. It was a love song. It just brought at that time. It just took me to a place.
Welcome to Message Reveal. Message Reveal identifies a vibe, a message, or a story told through lyrics of a song. And you guys, if you rock with me every week, you know what I do. I have a special guest. And my special guest, I get to tell you a few things about them. But before we get started, if you're new to my platform, please subscribe and find out what Message Reveal is all about. Now, let's get back to business so I can tell you a few things, and I only mean a few things about my special guest. One, she greets the world with her BBP. It's an acronym, and we'll find out what that is all about. She's also an advocate for healthy relationships.
Yeah.
And last but definitely not least, she's a lifestyle strategist. You guys, please put your hand together and welcome my beautiful friend, Miss Samira Acheampong.
Thank you. Thank you.
Did I get the name right?
Yes, you did. And I know it's a tongue twister. I mean, listen, this name, it has a beautiful meaning. It has a beautiful meaning, but you did get it right. And I know it's not a common name, especially in the US.
Well, that's okay. I tried hard to work at it to say it correctly. So let me say this to you. Anytime I have anybody that come onto my platform, I say thank you, because you could be doing anything. So I appreciate you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so grateful to be here.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So let's just, before we dive in and go into business, I have to address this amazing acronyms that you put together. It's BBP. And the reason why I love this acronym, I thought that's a wonderful way to greet people. So give me some background on how that came about, this, and tell everybody what the acronym means.
Okay, so thank you for allowing me to explain. BBP is my blessed, beautiful people. And that's how I pretty much address my audience, because we are blessed, we are beautiful, and we are people. So when I continue to say blessed, beautiful people, I was like, wait a minute, there's an acronym out of that, BBPs. So thank you for allowing me to explain that, my blessed, beautiful people.
I love that. So I'm going to dig a little deeper. How did that come about? Or it was just something you said repeatedly and it just stuck?
Right. So it was something that I just said repeatedly, and it stuck, but it has so much significance to it. Blessed. I mean, we are all blessed. Anytime we can wake up and put our feet on the ground, we are blessed. We are beautiful in our own unique and special way. And I'm not talking about aesthetically. I'm talking about inside. Everybody has something inside of them that makes them beautiful, and we're all people. We're
Yes.
all people. I'm
Well,
a natural encourager. So when I address people, it's always going to be with something that's going to encourage them.
now that I have to say, you are a natural encourager. No matter where you at, you're always encouraging somebody. And I think that is definitely your special gift. So thank you for always doing that, because when you're doing that naturally, it also blesses you. What you give out is what comes
Yes,
back.
absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree with you, Halima.
So let's just get into what I love. I love music.
I know
Girl,
that.
yes, music has turned me out in a great way. And I
Beautiful.
say all of that. Can you identify a song that has either provided blessings, distractions, or lessons? Now, before you answer, there's a
Uh
couple of
huh.
rules to this, okay?
Okay.
If you can sing, I need you to sing your throat box out. If you can rap, I need you to come hard in the paint, okay? But if you cannot do either or, I need you to say the lyrics with passion. We need to feel, you know, when they say in the streets, stand 10 toes down. I need to feel with
Yes.
passion what you're talking about. So we'll go back to the original questions. Can you provide a song that provides lessons, blessings, or distractions?
Well, the song Breakthrough by Mary J. Blige absolutely provided so many lessons. And the reason why I love that song because she talks about her trauma growing up, right? And as a survivor of childhood trauma, I can really relate with that song. And I would, when she speaks about she saw her mother get beat down. She saw her mother go through all of these horrific things in life growing up. She promises that she's here for the next woman, the next young lady, to not allow them to have that experience. And as I was listening to that song, preparing for this interview, it just gave me chills. And this is why Synergy Lifestyle Strategy exists to help people overcome childhood trauma. Her lyrics, she saw her mom get beat down in the street, I mean, come on now.
Yeah,
That song is just, it's giving me chills all over. And that song taught me so many lessons that just because you came from a negative background or a traumatic experience, that doesn't have to be your future.
that's
And you
right.
can turn it around for positive. And that's what that song Breakthrough did for me. And it did for Mary J. Blige. And I am a wholehearted advocate for that song, that project she did, the whole album, the whole album. Yes.
I loved I love the piece that you end with, that you said that does not have to be your future. So many times
Right.
what we've been through, we've taken it into our future because we didn't have the tools to dig through it and say that was a part of my past. I learned
Yes.
from it. I understand what
Yes.
it is, but moving forward, I'm going to do something different. So we're going to tap in and talk to you. We'll go back and forth, but we're going to talk about
Yes.
lifestyle strategy and what
Yes.
you do to help people to get to that next level. So before we even do that, let's talk
Yes.
about you. This is another thing I really love about you when I see your actual videos. You talk about this self-awareness button.
Yes.
I love that because we all have to have it, because
Yeah.
sometimes we're put in places, and if we don't have our self-awareness button, girl, we
Right.
get ate up. So tell me a little bit about that. I know you think it's funny that I brought that up, but I love that.
Well, you know what? And thank you for allowing me to explain it because when I say this self-awareness button, there's so much information that is vying for our attention, right? There's so many things out there's so many podcasts, genuine ones, disingenuine ones. And so what I am hoping people will do when they turn on this self awareness button is that they will do a spirit check. They will do a fact checker, a spirit checker. That's what I want to say. A spirit checker to see if the information that is being introduced to their ear gate is even worth listening to.
That part.
Okay. What are you being exposed to? What information is somebody telling you? Is it going to be something that's going to help you go to the next level, or is it going to be trash? And are people loitering in your ears? Are people dumping in your ears? So when I ask people to turn on their self-awareness button, I'm asking people to do a spirit check on any information that is being exposed to you.
Woo! I love, girl. I
Yes.
gotta give you a clap for that. I love that. And not only that,
Yes.
to me, it also makes you, for example, if you're watching something, you're doing something, we can get caught up in multiple things.
Yeah.
The self awareness button makes you pause for a minute to say, am I paying attention?
Yeah, that too. That too.
And I love that because we all have to pay attention. And then it goes along what you just said. Is it trash, or is it something that's
Yes.
going to benefit you?
Right, because we can absorb so much garbage, Halima. You know that, right? We can absorb so much garbage, and some of it is made with good intentions, but some of it makes us harp on negative past things, and we don't want to do that. Yes, we need to be aware of the past, but we're trying to move towards the future. Okay.
Yes, yes. I definitely agree with that. Well, I'm just going to turn the tables just a little.
Okay.
And I want you to think about your childhood. And
Oh.
I say this because I need you to go down memory lane and
Ooh.
think about the first time you had money, maybe for birthday, or you did something special, not clean the house, because we had to clean the house no matter what. You didn't
No
get
matter
paid.
what.
You didn't get paid for cleaning the house, but really you were able to gather enough money and you said, "Oh, this is the first artist or the first CD or whatever you wanted to get." You like, "Oh, I want to get this." Can you tell me your first music purchase without anybody's influence?
It's definitely going to be Tony. Oh, I love them so much. Like, back in the day, we didn't have the CDs or whatever, so we just had to rewind the cassette. That Tony um, cassette tape spoke to me. It Never Rains in Southern California. I
Woo!
think I played that song out, girl. That was my jam, and I don't even really know why that was my jam, but it was a great song. It was a love song. It just brought at that time. It just took me to a place. I love Southern California. I kind of grew up there, and it just brought me back to California, when things were good with my family and things were, seemingly good. Okay. So that whole song, the whole soundtrack really brought up good childhood memories. It never rains in Southern California. And they tell me it never rains in Southern California. When I put that song on, it's a whole vibe, girl. I get chills.
You know what? I have to agree with you. I don't know how old the song is, and I still love it. And then you see the next generation has taken it and added
Yeah.
some beats to it, and it's still the bomb.
Oh, girl, it rocks hard. I went to see them in concert, and let me tell you, they could have been there for a whole nother set, girl, and I would have been right there. It was one of the best concerts I absolutely enjoyed in a very long time. Go see them.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
What a
yes.
wonderful pick. I don't think anybody has been on and said Tony. I think you're
What?
first.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's not that they're not great. I think it's just so many
It's
people they get,
so many.
people get lost in the sauce. So we're happy to acknowledge Tony, and we have to bow our heads for a quick sec.
Yes,
One of the Tonys
yes,
passed.
yes, he did. He
So
absolutely did. Yes, yes.
yes, but I think that's a wonderful one. You and the one you said was the most popular one. I don't know if you can remember the video.
I do. He's on a plane and he can't wait to see her. And it's so nostalgic, Halima. It's so nostalgic.
It
And then,
is.
it just makes you want to feel the love and you just want to be missed by that person. And it just brings up all kinds of emotions that are
It
beautiful.
it it does. And I just want to say too, the first time I really fell in love with a Jeep was the video from there, because remember the young lady that came to pick him up was in a
Right.
Jeep. And I
Oh,
was
okay.
and I was like, "Oh, I love Jeeps." And I ended up dating
Yes.
a guy that had a Jeep like that. But anyway, that's another story.
Yes. Yes.
So let's just talk about you. I know you had a whole nother industry you were in, but tell me, what was the impetus for you, because you're an advocate for healthy relationships.
Yes.
So tell me the pivotal point that you said, "I must do this to help the world in some kind of way." Give me the background.
Well, okay. I'm a fixer. Okay. I'm a problem solver. And a lot of that was based on how I believe God allowed me to overcome life challenges. Okay. So I became a mother at 16. There was a lot of life challenges that were presented to me that I had to overcome, Halima. right? And so I said to myself, if I can overcome these life situations, then I can share with the world how they can overcome life situations. So I can't exactly pinpoint a time when um, I acknowledge being a fixer, because I've always been a fixer. I've always been the person to give advice, to give out solutions. I will say this though, and really kind of a lot of what the questions you're asking me called me to revisit a childhood moment, a very explicit moment that God continues to bring me back to. And we were living in LA in an apartment, mom, dad, sister, brother, five of us. And we were in the hallway, and my dad was telling my brother, you need to be a leader and not a follower, and you need to do this and all of the things that he was charging my brother with. Those words were hitting me like boom, 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 boom. And I was 8 years old, and those words were jumping off of my brother and landing on me. And my dad had no idea that he should have been talking to me. Okay.
Mm.
And so when God brought me back to that time, he showed me that I was always a leader. Always a leader. And even though sometimes your family or your parents don't recognize the gifts in you, God recognizes them and he will show you what they are. So I would absolutely have to say that was the moment where I knew that I was a leader. I was called to something great, something higher. And I knew that the life experiences that I experienced in my childhood were for a reason.
Yes, yes. I think that's a wonderful way to really give the background to say, yes, your dad was talking to your brother, but you knew and you were absorbing that energy of what he was given.
Yes.
And a lot of times parents will do those identity checks because maybe
Yes.
he was the boy. So
Yeah,
they
exactly
figured,
why.
oh, it was the boy. And now we have been delivered from that, and we identify according to their gifts, their talents, and
Right.
what they can do. So
Exactly.
I believe your path, you're more than qualified because not only your experience, you may not agree with this, but I understand you're a Libra, and a Libra sign is about balancing the scales. And
Mhm.
when you're balancing the scales, you can always give advice where someone else may not be able to see because they're in the moment, and you'll say, have you ever thought about A,
I,
B, and C? And that
yes.
has been you ever since I've known you.
Wow.
So I'm glad that you are sitting in your gifts and you
Yes.
are sharing your gifts with other people as God would have you do so.
Exactly, exactly. And I knew that I was supposed to be, one that would help people, because you know what, if you can agree to this, common sense has since left the building. Okay? A lot of the things that we learned when we were growing up, we think that it's carried to the next, but it's not. There's so many gaps, Halima, in what the young people know and what they don't know. And we are here to fill in those gaps. I am here to expose and introduce people to things that they didn't know. You get what I'm saying? Because you make better decisions when you know your resources.
Girl, listen, I say something on this all the time. Let me have full knowledge so I
Yes.
can make the best decision, because if it's one thing that's left out, I cannot make the best decision.
Right. Right.
And let's go back to common sense. Those things have been done intentionally with deprogramming.
Yeah.
Uh, and like, oh, you don't have to worry about this. You don't have to do this. And common sense has been worn out of their mind.
Yes, it has. And that's something that they need.
Yes.
I mean, that's something that I have to offer. I am revitalizing common sense.
And and I think it's great. And let me say this for the records.
Yes.
Our babies are freaking brilliant. When I
Yes.
say they are brilliant, they are brilliant.
Yes.
But like every generation, we need some gap fillers in there. And that's where
Yes.
wisdom comes in
Yes.
to add so they can be greater and give more for the next generation.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree. And that's our jobs, to be gap fillers. I like it.
Yes, yes, yes. With wisdom, because I tell people all the time,
Yes.
you not gonna take every, because being gap fillers is being wise, not doing
Right.
everything for them. And I've seen plenty of parents
Exactly.
that did everything for them, and their children never learned a lesson in their life.
Oh my goodness. And that's what we're seeing. And I'm so glad you said that, Halima. And that's what's wrong with our generation right now. If I can be specific to the Black community, right? So back in the 80s, because of what was introduced to our parents, unhealthy coping mechanisms like drugs and alcohol and all of those things, right? It really took away the parental role. They weren't as present, right? So now we are the products of that, and we're trying to not emulate that with our children. So we give them more than what we ever had, and we try to do this for them because it wasn't done for us, only to raise them to be entitled and young adults that don't have any grit or any type of stamina to overcome challenges. And so I'm so glad you brought that up, because we should not be enablers. We want to give them a ladder, but we don't want to, carry them on the ladder, if I can say that.
No, no, you're absolutely right. If I can just share a small story, when my children
Please.
were, my son was 5, my daughter was 3, and they had a disagreement. So they run down the stairs and they're coming to me and they want me
Yes.
to be the finisher of, like, no, you're wrong, you're right, or
Right.
whatever. And I was getting ready to respond, and the spirit said, don't say anything. And I looked at them. And they was like, mommy, mommy. And they probably called my name 110 times. Spirit said,
Right.
don't say anything. I just kept looking at them. And then they looked at each other. They figured it out and they went
Figured it out.
upstairs. And they went upstairs. So it's a time and a place for everything.
So
But
good.
when you can give them the tools to figure it out themselves,
Yes.
that's why them two are two thieves. I don't want to say thieves. They thick as, you know what?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
they had to figure it out. Now, I'm not saying I was not a mother, because I was very hands-on and still
Right.
hands-on. But I know when to back off.
Yes, you knew, you had discernment and you implemented that, and that allowed you to make that decision. And I'm going to say this, that I was really guilty of not, really allowing the figuring out portion to happen. I'm doing that now, but there is a consequence to not doing that in the beginning, Halima. And yeah, unfortunately, but life allows you to make those decisions, and you can look back and say, okay, maybe that's not the best, and I can help other people. This is why I'm here, to help other people, so they don't have to make the mistakes that I made. They can learn from my mistakes, and then they can move forward.
Yes, yes. And I say this all the time. What comes from the heart penetrates the heart. And because
Yes,
you're giving from your heart and you're talking
absolutely.
about personal experience, they will understand that better. It's many times I talk to somebody else like, you don't know what you're talking about. You got it together. Wait, excuse me? Let
Huh?
me tell you this, this, this. And they go, oh, you, Miss Halima? Absolutely. I said, I don't
So
have
you're
to talk about it, but I said, you
right.
needed to know it because you thought, hey, I was just this polished thing. I have overcome things too.
Yes.
So I think it's very necessary that we share our stories when needed. You ain't got to
Thank
share with
you.
everybody,
No,
okay?
please don't. Please don't. And you know what? And that's a biblical principle too, because it says, we got to be careful who we share our testimonies with, least they use it against us, least they trample over it. So and once again, it's discernment. Okay, who do I share this with that is going to actually use it for their benefit and not use it against me?
Yes, yes.
Right.
And that goes to, when that spirit God is talking to you, it's like, tell
Yes.
that baby this,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
redirect them, or even an adult, like, hey, I know you're going through something, let me share something where I
Right.
came up out of it. So
Exactly.
I agree with you 1,000% on that. And
Yes.
let's talk about music again. We're going to keep
Yes.
going back and
I
forth with
love it.
music.
Love it. Love it.
So I know it has been a time in my life that I was just like, ooh, yes, and jamming. And I was like, yes. And then I'm like, wait, one, minute, I've been singing that song all this time, and now I realize what it's all about. Can you identify a song?
Yes. Okay. The song is by Betty Wright. Okay. And it says, after the pain. Okay. And you know that song?
Absolutely. I
Oh
love
my
Betty.
goodness.
That's my auntie.
Okay. I mean, like that song, I used to sing it because I love the lyrics. Don't blame Mr. Charlie. Mr. Charlie is just a man and he's doing the best he can. That's why I still love him like I do. So I love the chorus line. I love the lyrics and everything. And then my grandfather's name is Charlie. So, it had so much significance. But when I got older and I recognized the lyrics in the song and what the song was promoting, I was like, wait, hold up. I'm gonna blame Mr. Charlie, and I'm gonna blame you too for being in a relationship with Mr. Charlie because he wasn't no good. And so the song and it was just the mindset that our ancestors and our forerunners had, like when women weren't able to provide for themselves, they had to accept whatever was given to them, whatever behavior, as long as the man was providing. And in that song, that's what she's saying that, you know what, he may not have been the best man, he may be unfaithful, but he's a provider, and he's doing the best he can, and we know that that's not right. Okay, we know that even you have to have discipline. And they used to say it, and she says it in the song too. She goes, she was told having a piece of a man is better than not having one at all. And that is a lie. That is
Girl,
a straight up lie. But we was getting into it. And we were wrecked, and that's what our mothers and aunties and them believed. And it was so toxic and it was poison. And actually, I had this conversation with a mentor not too long ago, and she was talking about how her aunties, would say things like, you can't trust men, but you know what, they're providers and all of these things. And it was pouring kind of poison in us because we then, unknowingly built up walls around that information.
yeah, yeah. I think that's a great. First of all, let me applaud you for picking that song, because let me say this: rest in peace, and heavenly peace, Betty Wright.
Yes,
She did what she did. See, she did it at the time with what she knew and what she
yes,
had. So I
yes,
respect that. And the
yes,
song had the great melody and the energy, but as you said, you're absolutely right when they said, don't blame Mr. Charlie. Mr.
yes.
Charlie is just a man and he's doing the best he can. Now, well, what about when we was doing the best I can?
Right.
So it was some antiquated information that was,
Yes.
at the time, she understood it to be her truth,
Right.
but we understand our truth now, and we can still play that song, but we can talk about it and use it as a conversation piece to say it takes two to tango,
It
and
takes
you
two.
don't have to accept anything that is not okay. So
Yes,
I
exactly, exactly. And Judge Judy also had that mindset. She was given a podcast interview, and she had, she recognized that her mindset was antiquated, but that's what she grew up on. But it held her down, and we can't judge. We just can evolve. That
yes,
might have worked for you, that doesn't work for me. And she even says that I don't recommend what I did to the next person. It's an individual choice. So, we just got to be, wise in the information that we are giving out. That's why I say put that awareness button, right? Because I need to know what I'm listening to and be aware, and do I agree with this?
yes.
You get what I'm saying? So that's a prime example of why we put that self-awareness button on, to make sure the information that we're hearing, is it something that my spirit agrees with?
I love that. Baby, we are on the same page
Yeah.
when it comes to that. Thank you for
Yes.
bringing up that song,
Yes.
because I have an invisible pew right back here. You can't see them. I can't see them, but you are speaking to someone, whether it's today,
Yeah.
tomorrow, or a year from now, that sees this and go, wait a minute. Do I need to put my self awareness button on when I'm out or at home? It gets them in the mode of
Yes.
making better decisions.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I love
Absolutely.
that. I
Yes.
absolutely love that. So let's talk about one of the things that you kind of talked about, little pieces of that throughout
Okay.
our conversations, but I want to go a little deeper.
All right.
And what I'm talking about is emotional healing and
Yes.
mindset renewing. Can you talk about that? Because those things are very vital. Because if we don't heal our
Oh my
emotions,
gosh.
then we cannot have a new mindset. It says in the Bible, I'm not a big Bible thumper.
That's
It says,
okay. The
be
principles.
ye transformed
Yeah.
by the renewing
Come
of what?
on, girl.
Your
That
mind.
scripture right
And that
there.
and that goes across every genre. You cannot do a new business. You
Come
cannot take on a new
on.
responsibility
Come
if your
on.
mind has not been renewed. And how you renew your mind is first deal
Yes.
with the emotional healing that needs to be done.
Absolutely. Okay. So thank you for allowing me to. This is a passion of mine. This, what you're just asking me, is my ever purpose. Healing. Okay. First of all, we can't show up in healthy relationships, in healthy partnerships in the world if we are not healed, because the majority of our interaction is going to be engage with people from a broken place, okay, from a place of triggering, from a place of trauma. When you're engaging with somebody and you're not healed, they can say something to you that triggers a past experience, and now you're responding off of that trigger, and that person had no idea, and didn't have those intentions. So I'm saying that healing has got to be number one. And a lot of people want to believe that they can just forget about the past and move on. That past will haunt you. It will come back up at the time where you least expect it, or the time where it's least favorable, and it will throw you for loops.
Yes, yes. You're absolutely right. I think I heard somebody say what you don't what you don't deal with or what you bury will come back alive. So
Yes.
sometime we'll bury it, and
Yes.
and again, like you said before, it needs to come back up so you can heal it and then
Yes.
move forward. So
Yes. And I believe that God is so gracious because he brings up issues that we have to deal with in segments. He doesn't do it all at one time, right? And thank God for that, because we'd be walking around crazy. But he does bring up moments where we need to revisit and really get curious about what happened, why that triggers me. I was watching a podcaster, and I really loved what he said about triggers. He says, yes, you were triggered, but get curious, sit in that feeling, and really try to unravel and unfold why that made you feel like that. Do you believe there's some truth in that? Do you believe that there was something you could have did differently? Just sit in that uncomfortable trigger and really try to be aware of what you're feeling, why you're feeling it. Is it a lie? Is it the truth and something that you need to change within yourself? Like, we can get excited about triggers because it allows us to get curious about why we were triggered.
ooh, that's good. That's a
I just
good
I'm
one,
just repeating what I
girl.
heard.
No, but you're repeating something that's really good. Why are you getting triggered? And I can think
Right.
about something that years ago. I mean, I'm not a person that get anxiety. I just be like, whatever. This
Yes.
particular thing really triggered me, and
Right.
when I sat down and got quiet, I realized what it was. And now to this day, it no longer triggers me.
That's right. It no longer owns you. As long as respond and you get curious about it, that thing can never own you again.
Yes.
Because, see, we don't want to be uncomfortable and we don't want to feel certain things. But, I'm a big advocate of therapy. I have a therapist, I'm in therapy, and I absolutely shout out to Shirian, my therapist, because that woman, she is great at what she does. And going through this therapeutic journey for me, Halima, and healing has yielded so many blessings. I believe that I'm married to the husband that I have right now due to this healing process and being, well enough to recognize what's good for me. Come on, somebody.
Yes.
When you're not healed, you can't recognize what's good for you because you're craving that toxic behavior that it's really not serving you, but it's all you know and you're familiar with it. So you just keep on doing that. But that's we've got to get away from being too comfortable.
Yeah, yeah, no, I think that's a great point, and thank you for sharing and acknowledging that you're going through your healing process with a
Yes.
therapist. Because
Yes.
the more we make it known, the more people will dive into it. And let's
Definitely.
talk about years ago, our parents, girl, therapists,
Girl,
what?
no, still won't.
Hello? Hello? And that's the reality of it. So we have the opportunity to
Yes.
evolve and do things different and be an example of that. So thank you for acknowledging that.
Yes.
I'm gonna give you a clap for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Yes.
Therapy needs to be normalized.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And
Yes.
I will also say be wise in who you choose,
Oh,
because I've seen some people, and this is firsthand, that went through therapy and they became worse. And I said,
wow.
who in the hecky heck
In the
are you
hecky
sitting
heck.
down with? Because you reign terror through I mean, it became over the year even more worse. So, and then the
Wow.
person finally got rid of that person and
Good.
they end up getting
Good.
someone else. So I don't know if it was just a paycheck for the person,
Right. Yes.
because it was horrible. It was
Yeah, and I'm
horrible.
so glad that you said that, Halima, because I had to go through several myself, and you don't really know to do that when you're, especially back in the day. I've been in therapy for years, and I've always been a pioneer when it comes to this. I've always loved self help books. Before I received my spiritual awareness with God, I was always into self awareness and health self help books. And so I've always been this person that did not want to relive the past. And I knew that there was work to be done in order to do things differently, right? But I do recommend you don't have to stay with a therapist, the first therapist that you meet with. It has to be a fit. It has to be a right fit. You don't need to leave the therapy session feeling like, you know, I don't really think that works. No, get curious about why you didn't think that worked, and search for a new one. And then even after you've been with this one for a while, sometimes you need to go see a new one anyway. So definitely it needs to fit you. Thank you for saying that. I wholeheartedly agree with
Yeah, can I tell you a secret?
that. I'm coming in. Tell
The-
me.
Wherever you're spending your money,
Yes.
you need to assess it. Don't accept it
Yes.
just because they say they are a therapist. It needs
Right.
to be a meeting point that you both
Yes.
agree to and you feel comfortable with the process. It's not going to always be easy, but you
No.
got to know what works for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for that. So if there's anybody out there that has a therapist that they don't think is working, do yourself a favor and find a new one. Simple as
Absolutely.
that. Simple as that.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely. I
yes,
agree with that. Thank you for putting that pin in that.
yes, yes, yes,
So, since we're talking about therapy, since we're talking about
yes,
emotional healing,
yeah.
let's talk about, which is really near and dear to my heart. It is times that I've had some challenges.
Okay.
And guess what? Sometimes it's just me and God and a song.
Yes.
Okay? Nobody else is there.
Nobody else.
And I'm saying this, can you identify a song that when your spirit was really, really low and you're like, okay, I can't call this person, I can't do it, I have to take care of it on my own. What song can you put on to bring your spirit up?
Okay. I need thee. Oh, I need thee. You know that song, I need thee. Oh, I need thee. Every hour I need thee. Oh, bless me now, my Savior. I come to thee. Girl, that song, it has took me through. It
Mm,
has brought me over. You get what I'm saying? Because if we're honest, God will set up situations where you can't call on nobody but Him. Try to call your mom, she don't pick up. Try to call that girlfriend of yours that that just know you, she too busy. And then guess what? You are faced with your Creator.
Come
He
on.
makes room for Himself.
Come on.
Okay. And when I sing that song, that's my channeling song. That's how I channel the Holy Spirit into my space. And we need to work some things out. Okay. And so that song, thank you for allowing me to share that song because that song speaks to my spirit.
I
And
love
it helps me to just be so transparent with God.
I love it. I love it. I think we all have to have that one song that can pull us out. And I can definitely understand why you chose that song.
Yes.
Because when you have something that just can raise your spirit up, you like, okay, I can
Ooh.
get to the next level.
And I can go on. I can go. Yes, 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 yes.
Yes,
So that song. And it's an old hymn too. But guess what? It survived the generations.
absolutely. And that's what we want. We want something, what they call it, a firm foundation, something we can
Yes.
stand on.
Timeless. Timeless.
Yes,
Timeless.
yes.
Timeless. I love it.
Definitely, definitely that. So, another thing, let's talk about you being a lifestyle strategist.
Yes.
Tell me, of course, we talked about you, I guess, being in that spot at your, in California when your dad was talking to your brother.
Right.
But what made you say this is a business for me and
Wow.
I will move forward? Because it may be individuals that see this actual podcast and say, hey, I want to tap in with her because let me say this. Your lifestyle strategy that you offer people is confidential, correct?
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
I think a lot of times people pause because they think that the conversation that they may have with the goals and getting
Right.
them prepared, it may not always be confidential. So talk about how it became a business and just talk about what you offer people in that process. Is that too much for you?
No, that's more than great. So I can recall a time I was in my bedroom, and at the time I was going for training. I was in college. I was getting my bachelor's degree in leadership, administrative leadership, and at the same time I was taking some ministry classes at my church, and it was so conflicting because I knew that I needed to focus on one. And at the time, but at the time I was fighting with God because I really wanted to pursue my secular degree because I thought that it held more weight, right? So I had this moment with God, this like wow, this awakening moment where He told me, "You're going to pursue my word first, and then you're going to do what you want to do later." And I was like, "No, God, I want to do this my secular career. I want." And He said, "How do you know I'm going to let you live that long, girl?"
Okay.
Okay, So at that moment, I knew that it was really important for me to gain the wisdom and the principles from a Bible standpoint because he then is going to use that for my good, for my career. I didn't know he was setting me up, Halima. You get what I'm saying? I was focused on, let me get my degree, because it was something that I had always wanted. It was something that I felt barren without, if I'm
Mm,
honest, my degree. I was in my career and I really didn't need it for my career at that time, but it was a personal thing, right? And I
mhm,
was on this nonstop road to get this degree because I thought that it was going to make me feel more smart and it was going to give me some type of accolade. You get
mm,
what I'm saying? But what God was trying to show me is that my word is going to give you the accolade. My word is going to propel you. So I knew at that very moment that God was going to merge my passion, my passion for leadership and merge it with, his principles to be a spiritual coach and a strategist for other people. So I want to say in 2014, that was when I knew that God was setting me up. He was merging my passions for leadership and his word together to form this business that he's going to use to bring other people into their purpose.
Yes. Yes.
I hope that made sense. I hope it was succinct, but I can remember exactly where I was. I was in my bedroom and I was, just going through it with God. And he said, listen, I know you think you know what's good for you, but I'm your creator. How about that?
Well, I love it. The transparency is what gets me because we all had a time where I can even say a time where I was like, oh, I know this. And then guess what? It was something
Yes.
even better or greater.
Even better and even greater. So, I think that was it for me, just surrendering, what I want into my higher power and letting him figure things out for me. So, and if I could be honest with you, I didn't really. I've been in Toastmasters. I was in Toastmasters for several years. I I Toastmasters kind of fell off during COVID or whatever because everybody was on the Zoom and it just didn't give that feel. But prior to that, I was inspired by my fellow Toastmasters that my life story, you know, it is a whole, I don't want to say business, but it's a whole opportunity to help other people because sometimes we discredit ourselves based on the experiences that we have. Me being a teenage mom, me experiencing, domestic violence as a child and even as an adult, me going through those things. Why would somebody want to listen to me? And then I have to say, why wouldn't somebody want to listen to me? I have overcome so many challenges and so many, adversities. Here I am at 47, a retired woman. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? And overcoming challenges, able to travel some of the most exotic places in the world because I overcame.
Yes.
I did
Yes.
not allow those challenges to paralyze me.
Yes. Ooh, I think that's a positive word to get someone attention. Paralyze me.
Paralyze.
Because if we don't learn how to move forward, that goes with the emotional healing, that goes with planning for the future, all the things
Yes.
that we talked about. We can be paralyzed if we don't get those things out. So let me just play a minute,
Yes.
and I'm going to say if I'm a new client and
Right.
I have no idea, but I know I need help. What are the top three things that you will tell a brand new client and they have disclosed to you that they've had some trauma in their life and they just say, I don't know what to do. What can you do? Can you give me three steps or three things you would tell them right then and there? It has to be quick. And I don't mean quick just to get their
Mhm.
attention to say, okay, we can move to the next step. What would you suggest to them?
Okay, first, are you teachable or coachable? You can't share any information. You can't help somebody that is not coachable, that feels like they already have it figured out. And actually, I don't even really that's not my preferred client. And all business ain't my business. Okay.
Say that.
And so I don't want just any and all business, but I want those people that are ready to be coachable. So I will ask them, are you coachable? Are you ready to learn some different habits, some different mindsets? Okay. And what is your availability for this? Because there does take some work that's involved. There is some work that is involved. There are some things that they need to, do at home. I mean, you can't just do things in a session and expect everything to go hunky dory. When you're outside of the session, are you prepared to go through those? Challenges to get to where you're trying to go. And also, doing things differently and recalibrating and healing is messy.
Ooh,
Messy.
yes,
Okay. And so you are. recalibrating your thinking, you're doing things absolutely differently. Are you willing to deal with the consequences of doing things differently because you're going to show up different around people? You know, all of the expectations that they have of you that were not healthy, you're no longer surrendering to that. So you might lose some people. Are you willing to lose in order to gain?
Ooh, girl, come on, drop off those old loads so we can pick up some new ones, okay?
Like, you know what, Erica Badu, bag lady, you gonna hurt your back. Okay. So, you know what I'm saying? Are you willing? You know, it's such a messy process. But once the mess is all cleaned up, you're feeling so good and you're confident. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want things in your space that no longer serve you.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you
I
willing
think
to show up differently?
I think that is such a wonderful point. I think this is a great way to advertise your business. Like, first of all, the thing you said that I jump in and say 10 toes down. Everything ain't for everybody. Are you teachable? Not only
Yes,
are you teachable, are you willing to spend some time to really go through it? And number three, are you okay with being messy, meaning releasing the old and taking in the new? And if I
exactly.
paraphrase it wrong, please correct me.
Well, you know what? Healing is messy, is really what it is. And so there's going to be a lot of mess when you're healing because you're shedding off old ways of doing things. And when you're shedding off old ways of doing things, you know, you're misunderstood by the people that you were once rocking and gelling with. You lose friends. But in all honesty, you know, sometimes friends are seasoned. You know what I mean? So you're going to lose, but you're going to gain even more. Are
Yeah.
you really losing? No, you're not, because the things that you've lost were not able to survive in your new season.
Yes. Woo! Come on. She said
Yes,
it
yes,
wasn't able to survive in the new season. That's why she is a lifestyle strategist. I
yes.
love what you're saying. Um, due to time, we're going to have to wrap this up. But
Okay.
before we wrap this up, please provide any whether it's an email, whether it's a phone number, whether it's social media,
Yes.
whatever, so someone can get in contact with you. And
Absolutely. Thank you so much for inviting me here, Halima. This has been amazing. We've been knowing each other since um
forever.
for yeah, middle school. You know, I mean, I rocked with your sisters, and you know, I mean, we were just like this. So I appreciate the invitation. It's been so amazing. I'm wearing some of my apparel right now. It's Synergy Lifestyle Strategies, if you can kind of see the logo.
Yes.
And this right here is just positive, where anybody can rock this. This is just saying that, you know, the S, if you can see it, it's all hands coming together in different ethnicities and backgrounds, you know, forming this synergistic energy that cannot be done alone. It takes a village, it takes a community for us to heal, to grow, and to do things differently. So I'm on every social media platform. I'm on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. I'm working on my Instagram, but it's Synergy Lifestyle Strategies. Okay. And you can also go to my Synergies Lifestyle Strategies at yahoo.com. That's SYNERGYLIFESTYLE, Lifestyle Strategies, STRATEGIES at yahoo.com. Okay. And so, like I said, I'm on all the social media platforms. I am here for you. And let's accomplish and journey into some new experiences together.
I love that. And one thing, I do have one last music question before we get out of here. But if
Yes.
they would like to purchase your shirt that you currently have or some other things, how can they get in contact with you to purchase that?
Okay, so you know what? If you want to look on Facebook, so you can DM me on Facebook, on TikTok, and I do check those regularly. So I'll be able to just put your information, you know, in the DM that you know, want a T-shirt or what have you, and I'll send you some other merch that I have available. Thank you for allowing me to shoot out that plug. But yeah, so that's how you can get in touch with me.
Absolutely. That's great. Thank you. And before we get out of here, I do have one more question.
Yes,
This season was about self-discovery. So many times we have to discover ourselves and in
exactly.
order to know what no longer serves us and what
Right.
now serves us. It's about elevation. So I would like to know if you can dedicate a song to the world that's
Yes.
based off of you discovering yourself.
Wow. This would definitely have to be one of Mary J. Blige's songs. Shout out to Mary J. Blige. It was hard to choose between her and Tony, but because I've been rocking with her since the 90s. Um, you can't hold a good woman down. And that's on the breakthrough. You know what I'm saying? You cannot hold a good woman down. And I don't just mean that as a woman, a person. You can't hold a good person down. I'm not a gender biased person. I believe that men and women have an equal place in this world that are here to show up and do wonderful things. But for the sake of that song, you can't hold a good woman down. No life experiences, no trauma, no heartbreak, no challenges can hold you down. If you are good, you will rise and you will overcome any life
Absolutely.
challenge.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, yes,
Well, before we get out of here, I do want to talk about the journey and the destination. The journey is where we learn and where we grow. The
yes,
destination is where we celebrate. Far too often, we're not
yes,
going to that destination to celebrate so we can appreciate
yes,
what we've done
come
and really know
on.
that we did that.
Yes,
But the key to all of it is to get back into that journey so we can continue to learn,
yes.
we can continue to grow, elevate, and we will have a chance again to go to the destination to celebrate.
Exactly.
When
Exactly.
I have my men on, I salute them, but when I have my women on, I bow to them. So I bow to you, beautiful lady.
Thank you, Queen. Thank you, Queen.
And I always give the last word to my guests. So anything that comes to your heart, I know you are something, but whatever comes to your heart, please share.
What I want to share is that the best part of you is the healed part of you. Okay? Don't allow that little girl or that little boy inside of you to continue to suffer in trauma. Okay? Heal, child, heal.
You know what? I think that is a wonderful way to segue out. You guys, please, please put your hands together and thank my beautiful
Thank you,
guest
Queen.
and friend, Miss Samira
And
Acheampong.
that's a Ghanaian name, and it means made from greatness, made from kings. Yes.
Ooh, what a better way to segue out. Thank you for sharing that. And as I
Thank you
say
for
to
having me.
all my guests, I'll see you out here in these Las Vegas streets.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to share. Blessings to all of you.